So as usual, we're going to start lying down on our mats and we're going to concentrate on our breathing here. We're not going to spend a long time lying down. We're going to spend a few minutes, and that few minutes is just to get in touch with your breath, with your body, with your space. So use the time to synchronize your mind, body and breath into your yoga space. And then we're going to work through that space over the next 60 minutes. So lie down, open your legs and just relax and breathe. So prepare your mind for the work that you're going to do. Think about your practice, set your intention, and start working straight away with your mind towards your intention. I know I've shared this before, but my intention for my practice is pretty much the same every single time. And that the first one is that I want to work with my breath. I want to control my breathing all the way through my practice. And the second one is to listen to my body so that I can suspend my ego. Don't push myself too far so that I injure myself. So we're going to bring our feet together and we're going to start our warm-up. And we're going to start by pointing our toes and flexing our feet. Point your toes and flex your feet. Point your toes and flex your feet. One more time, point your toes, flex your feet and bend your knees. Now I want you to push the small of your back into the floor, and as you do that, I want you to suck your stomach to your spine, contract your ribs, curl your tailbone under so that your glutes should engage. There is no space between the small of your back and your mat. Just take a good inhalation and exhalation here. Now go the opposite way. Push your tailbone into the mat. Notice how it arches your back. Take a good inhalation and exhalation here. And again, push your small of your back into the mat. Tuck your tailbone under, engage your glutes. Push your tailbone into the mat. Arch your back. From here, take your left leg as long as the mat, hug your right knee into your chest and squeeze it. Rock from side to side slightly. Feel any pinch points in your hip. Squeeze your knee into that and give it a nice tight squeeze. Swap legs. Bring your left knee into your chest and squeeze it. Just move from side to side. Feel any tight points, give them a squeeze. And bring your legs out as long as the mat. Take your arms up over your head, backs of the hands onto the floor. Push away, point your toes, your back will arch, that's fine. Try to get your biceps by your ears and the backs of your hands on the mat. Make sure you're on the back of your head and not the top of your head. Just breathe here for a couple of breaths. Keep pushing away, don't relax. Bring your hands down, bring your right knee in, take your chin towards your right knee, push your hands away and come back all the way over. Take your hands down, bring your left knee in, bring your chin towards your left knee, push away and come back. Bring your hands down, bring both knees into your chest. Bring your chin towards both knees and push away. And come back. And we're going to repeat that cycle. Right knee. And back. Left knee. And back. And both knees. And back. Take a breath here. Inhale deeply. Keep your hands over your head, biceps by your ears, toes are pointed. Suck your stomach into your spine, contract your ribs, push the small of your back into the mat. Lift your shoulders and arms above your head. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Look at your toes if that helps. Look at the ceiling if you feel a cramping in your neck. Make sure you're really pushing the tension through your stomach here. So I prefer to look at the ceiling at this one. It stops me craning my neck. Think about the small of your back being into the mat. And come down, squeeze your knees into the chest, roll from side to side. From here, take your knees to tabletop. So from your hips to your knees is a straight line. It's not coming towards your chest and it's not going away from you. It's a straight line. Then your shins are also in a straight line to the floor. Bring your hands up, place your palms under and just raise and hold and breathe. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Allow your head to come to the floor. Let's roll from side to side. From here, let go of your knees, but keep them into your chest as tight as you can. Try to keep your knees together. Bring your chin towards your knees and push away. Try to make that gap between your thighs and your chest as small as possible. And relax down. Take your feet to the floor. I'm going to stay on an angle here so that you can see the next move. So your feet are near your backside. Feet are slightly apart. Your hands are going to be palm facing down. We're going to push our hips up nice and easy into a bridge. As we reach the top of our bridge, we're going to take our right hand, reach over the right shoulder. And come back into a bridge and lower. Take an inhalation. As you exhale, take your bridge up. Take your left hand, reach over the shoulder at a 45-degree angle. Push up. Come back into your bridge and lower down. So we're going to repeat the same again. Come up into your bridge. Take your right arm over at a 45-degree angle and reach away from you and still push into your bridge as high as you can. Come back to your bridge and lower down. Take 2 breaths. Come up into your bridge. Take your left arm over, 45-degree, reach away. Keep your bridge high. And come back to your bridge. Keep your bridge, keep it high. Slowly lower down. Hug your knees into your chest and roll from side to side. From here, we're going to take our feet away and we're going to hover both legs above the floor, no more than a foot. And then you're going to raise your chest and your arms over your head. Well, not your chest over your head, that would be a bit weird. Raise your shoulders off the floor with your arms raised overhead. So I'll demonstrate and you can join me. And hug your knees to your chest and relax. So we're going to come onto all fours. Guys, by the way, I haven't muted you today, so your grunts and groans will be going out on YouTube. So we're going to do a couple of cat-cows. So we're going to drop our chest and our belly through and look up and inhale. And then we're going to push through on our exhale. And drop. So work with the pace of your own breath now. Inhale, drop your belly, arch your back, look to the sky. And then inhale, push through the floor, round your shoulders, round your back, look to your pelvis. And last time, dropping everything to the floor, arching your back, looking to the sky. And push through. Come to neutral, we're going to bump our hips to the right, we're going to look over to our left ankle. Really trying to squeeze our left side here and stretch the right side. And bring your top half to neutral first, then your hips, bump your hips to the left, look over to your right ankle. Head to neutral, hips to neutral, bump right, look left. Head to neutral, hips to neutral, bump left, look right. Hips to neutral, head to neutral. So we're going to do a scap press up here. So all we're going to do is we're going to drop our chest through our shoulders, so our shoulders retract. And then I'm just going to push through so that my shoulders protract. So retraction, protraction. So my arms don't bend at all, it's just my shoulders really moving and my lat muscles. So protraction, retraction. So inhale on the retraction. Exhale on the protraction. Take your right hand and reach it as far away as you can. Touch the floor, walk your fingers away from you. Just hold it there. Bring your right hand back, take your left hand, walk it away from you. Bring it back. Now just for a moment, I want you to close your eyes and just articulate your hips and your spine in every conceivable movement you can think of. Forwards, back, up, down, figure of eight, cat-cow, child's pose, everything. Make it relaxed, you're articulating, you're taking all the stress out of your back here. And come back to neutral. Bring your knees together. Sit back onto your ankles. We're going to do a quick wrist warm up. So first of all, we're going to rotate our wrist, get some synovial fluid moving around the joints, lubricating our joints if you like. So big figure of 8, full range of movement. Nice and slow, nice and full. Really pushing my wrists down into their full range of movement. Now I'm going to reverse it and come the other way. I'm going to take my hands in front of me. I'm going to bend them down, try to bring my fingers flat, push them to the side of my legs. I'm just going to straighten my elbows and push weight into my wrists. Just going to have 2 breaths here. I'm going to come up, very slowly bring my hands together. I'm going to squeeze them. Take my hands out the front, bend them so the fingers again point to the ceiling, but my wrists are facing upwards. Got that wrong. And place your palms of your hands on the floor, stretching the insides of your arms. And come up. Again, squeeze your hands. Give them a really tight squeeze. So the tight squeeze is still working the same muscles that you need to manipulate your hands when you're in down dog and crow and handstand and anything else. So we're going to come onto all fours and we're going to do the final part of our finger warm up, which is we're going to press through our hands. And then we're going to raise the heel of our hands, then raise the pads of our hands, but our fingers stay on the floor. And I come back, I push my pads down, then my heels, and that would be 1. So heels up, pads up, fingers stay on the floor, pads down, heels down. Heels up, pads down, heels down. As I'm pushing up and down, I'm trying to maintain some resistance, trying to let my fingers and wrists do the work. Up and down, up and down. Last time, up and down. Go straight and make a fist, both hands. And what we're going to do, we're going to roll onto the backs of our hands, try and keep our elbows straight, open our fingers towards each other, close them, come back up onto our fists. So roll onto the backs, open your fingers, close them, come up. Down, open, close, up. Down, open, close, up. Down, open, close, up. Last one. Down, open, close, up. Sit back. Take your hands back to there, take them back into a stretch. And come up. We'll meet in all fours. So we're going to come in all fours. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my right arm up and just hold it up and push it away from me. Pressing through the floor with my left, contracting my core, making myself tight all around my core. Keep your arm level, at least level, not pointing to the floor. Bring it up, make it work. And take it down. Place your hand carefully, it becomes your stable base. Take your other hand up. At least level with the floor, not pointing downwards, pointing at least level, if not up. And come down. We're going to do the same with our right leg. We're going to push it back straight, point our foot away from us and raise it. Make sure you're not pressing on just one hand here. Press both hands in to even the work of your core. Keep that leg tensed and pushed away. Work every muscle in your leg that you can. And bring it in slowly, come to all fours, reset your neutral and take your left leg out. And again, point it away from you. Engage it, make sure your glutes are engaged, or your left glute anyway. Suck your stomach in so it's nice and tight in your core. And you're pressing with both hands away from the mat. Keep that toe pointed. Keep that form, work it. And bring it in and come down. Keeping your knees together, push away, take your hands away from you, go into extended child's pose. But don't get used to it because we're coming back into all fours and we'll meet in all fours. Open your knees, hip width apart. You're going to take your right arm and your right leg and you're going to take them out simultaneously. And we're going to push your right arm and your left leg, sorry. We're going to push and hold. And I want you to get them as high as you can and hold them both as high as you can. So they both must be at least level with the floor. And come down. Push back, bring your knees together, push back into child's pose and take a breath. And we'll meet in all fours. We're going to repeat on the other side. Bring them down. Sit back on onto your calves. Rotate your wrists. Give your wrists some TLC here. So we're going to come back onto all fours. We're going to just lift our knees an inch off the floor. So push through both hands, round shoulders, lift your knees an inch. Keep pushing through the shoulders, keep rounding those shoulders. Push away as hard as you can. Lock those elbows, keep those knees low. And come down, sit back, rotate your wrists. So we're going to start with the same again, but we're going to add on. Come onto all fours. Be on the balls of your feet. Push through into protraction. Push away from the floor. Lift your knees. Now I want you to lift your left foot off the floor as well. Only slightly. Keep it there, keep it low, keep everything low. And put your left foot on the floor and lift your right leg up. Right foot off. And put your right foot down, put your knees down. Sit back onto your heels and rotate your wrists. Give your wrists in TLC. So we're going to open our knees as wide as the mat. And we're going to try and bring our chest to the floor, taking our arms out as far as we can. Really concentrate on pushing your hands away from you and trying to push your armpits into the floor. And come back up. Walk your hands in, bring your knees in. Come back into all fours. Curl your toes under. You're going to push your hips to the floor. We're going to work slowly into our down dog. So we're going to push through the floor, go into retraction. Hover your knees, lift your hips. Push your chest towards your thighs, your head between your arms, then lower your heels. Feel free to pedal if you want to. And then get into your down dog. Remember to keep pushing through the floor with your hands. Don't relax your hands. Keep pushing away. Look through the gap in your hands. Take your right foot, place it between your hands. Drop your knee onto the floor and lean forward on your forward knee. So you're opening the space here down your left side. Come onto the top of your back foot. And just push through and lean forward. The key to stretching is to relax into the stretch. If you're uncomfortable in the stretch and you're fighting it, then you're going to be fighting against the stretch. Your muscles are going to contract and you're not going to get the benefit of the stretch. So you've got to control the stretch with your breathing. Relax, let everything go. And if it's too uncomfortable, ease back a bit. Just a bit until you get to your comfortable bit. Hi Kaya, I just saw you there. So from here we're going to push back, push back, push back, push back, push back, push back. Come to a straight leg. Bring your toes up towards the ceiling and just bring your chest towards your thigh. come back onto your sole of your foot. As you come up, I want you to bring your left heel by your backside, grab it, come up, grab it with both hands, chest back and forward, chest forward, shoulders back and down. Slowly let go. Keep your foot in the air, lower it slowly. Bring your hands to the floor. Take your right leg back and bring your left leg forward. And again, we're going to lean forward, come onto the top of your right leg. Just lean forward and start to stretch your groin and your hip flexors here. So we're not going to do any more power moves, any more strength moves. We're going to start stretching and unwinding. So really start to attend to your breathing, and your exhalation is going to be extra helpful to letting yourself go. And come back, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. Try not to lean away from your foot. Try to come back so you'd be square. Hook up and lower your chest towards your thigh. And slowly come up. As you come up, bring your right heel up to your backside. Reach round with your right hand first. Put it into your backside. Reach round with your other hand. Maintain your balance, obviously. And then stand up. Bringing your heel into your backside. Pulling your shoulders back and down, chest forward. If you haven't engaged your core, do so. Suck your stomach into your spine, contract your ribs, engage your core. And slowly let go with one hand, let go with the other, keep your foot up there, and lower it down slowly. Come back to your knees. Come back to all fours, and then we're going to lift up into down dog. Push away from the floor. So we're going to look through the gap in our hands. We're going to take our right foot and we're going to place it outside of our right hand. Put your knee down to the floor. And again, we're now stretching our groins, and I'm going to push my knee away from me. So I'm on the outside edge of my foot, pushing my knee away. Let go of my knee, replace my hands, come down to my elbows. Hold the stretch here. Come back to your hands. Curl your left, come onto the ball of your foot of your left foot. Lift your foot, come back into, walk your foot back and push into down dog. Push away from the floor. Shoulders are elevated and protracted. Look through the gap in your hands. Take your left foot, place it to the outside, drop your right knee, come to the top of your right leg and just push your knee away from you. Let go of your knee, come back to the flat of your foot, take your hands down, and come down slowly and gently onto your elbows. With every exhalation, try to relax more, sink deeper. Come back to your hands. Go onto the ball of your right foot. Lift your right knee off the floor. Push your leg back. Come back into down dog. Very slowly, walk your feet to your hands. Bending your knees, keeping your knees bent. Bring your chest in touch with your thighs. Try and bring your knees, your feet between your hands. So my knees are quite bent here. My chest is on my thighs. I'm going to take my hands behind my legs and I'm slowly going to open my knees to a place that's comfortable for me, or on the edge of uncomfortable but not unbearable. My head is relaxed, I'm not trying to push it into the knees. Replace your hands, bend your knees. Keep bending, come onto your toes. Balance on your toes, take your hands up. Just hold that balance there. Squeeze your knees together, suck your stomach in. Lift your chest up. Take your hands behind you. Sit your backside on the floor. Walk back, keep your knees bent. We're going to lower our back to the floor nice and slowly. And now we're just going to take our arms out to the T. We're going to open our thighs. Soles of the feet are together. And we're going to take some restorative breathing here. Nice, deep, slow breaths. Close your eyes. Lose yourself in your breath. Soften your face as you inhale. Try to experience the feeling of letting go as you exhale. From here, close your legs. Bring your knees up, legs parallel to the floor, drop them to the left. Look over your right. Both shoulder blades on the mat. Bring your knees back to neutral and slowly take them over to the other side. Look over to your left, both shoulder blades on the mat. And take your knees back to neutral. Allow your feet to go along the length of the mat. Open your feet as wide as the mat. Take your arms between your shoulders and your hips. And just close your eyes and relax in Shavasana. Bring your breathing back to its slow, steady, rhythmic pace. And whilst you're breathing, I'm going to tell you a little tale. There was once a young, poor guy, and he was living on the streets, homeless. And he would forage around for food, look in the rubbish to try and find food. And he would take it back to the little place where he's sheltered from the weather. And he would pile it down. And he would eat a bit and then try and rest. But he noticed that his food was going and disappearing. And then one day he saw a mouse taking his food. And he said to the mouse, "Hey mouse, why are you taking my food? I'm poor. You can steal from better people than me and have more to eat and better to eat." And the mouse spoke back to him and he said, "You're only allowed to own 23 things." He said, "So it's your destiny to only own 23 things, and it's my destiny to steal your food." So the man said to the mouse, "Why is that my destiny?" And the mouse said to the man, "I don't know. You must ask the Buddha." So the next day the man woke up and he thought, "I will ask the Buddha. I'm going to ask the Buddha about my destiny." So he set off on a journey to seek out the Buddha and ask the Buddha about his destiny. He'd been walking for about a day and it started to rain quite heavily, and he saw a house. So he knocked on the door. And the man answered the door. And he said, "Can I help you?" He says, "Yes." He said, "It's raining." He said, "And I thought I might ask if I could come in and shelter from the rain." And the man was kind. And he says, "Yes, please come in." And the man said to him, "Why are you walking in the rain?" And the young man said, "I am seeking the Buddha. I'm going to ask the Buddha a question about my destiny." And the man said, "That's good. You can rest here tonight." So the man slept there the night, and he had some food and warmth and shelter for the evening. The next day, the young man got up, got ready, and was about to set out on his journey. And the kind old man said to him, he said, "Hey, could you do me a favour?" And the young man said, "Yes, of course, I will, anything." He said, "My daughter, 16, she has never ever spoken a word in her life. And we've tried everything. We don't know how to make her speak. We don't know how to help her. Could you ask the Buddha, what do we need to do to get our daughter to speak?" And the young man said, "Yes, of course, I'll ask the Buddha that." And he said, "Thank you." And they parted. And the young man went on a journey. And he travelled for a long time, many months. And as he was travelling, he came across a great big mass of water. Not as big as a sea, but bigger than a lake. And as far as he could see, he couldn't walk round. And he didn't know how to get across. And he was sitting at the shore thinking, I've been travelling for a year and I don't know what I'm going to do. And just then a giant turtle appeared, and the turtle said to the man, what are you doing? He said, I need to cross the water. So the turtle said, come on, climb on my shell, I'll take you across. So the man said, thank you. So the turtle started to swim across. The giant turtle was swimming across this water. And during the time they were together, the turtle said to the man, why do you want to cross this water? Nobody crosses this water. He said, I'm looking for the Buddha. I'm trying to seek the Buddha. And when I find the Buddha, I'm going to ask him a question about my destiny. So the turtle thought about this. And he said to the man, okay, when you find the Buddha, would you ask him a question for me? And the young man said, yes, of course. What is it? And the turtle said, well, I've been a turtle for 500 years, and according to my teachings, I should evolve into a dragon by now. But nothing happens, and I wait, and nothing happens. So I don't know what to do. Could you ask the Buddha, what do I need to do to evolve into a dragon? And the young man said, yes, of course. I will ask the Buddha that. So they carried across, and the man crossed the water. And again he walked, and he walked, and he travelled, and he journeyed. Soon he came across a huge, huge mountain range. The mountains were very, very high, and they all had snow on them. And they went on for as far as he could see. And the man looked at the mountain range, and he wondered how he was going to cross the mountain range. And he felt low and dejected because he didn't think he would make it. It was too dangerous, too far. And just then, an old man appeared. And the old man said to him, what's the matter? He said, for 2 years I've been travelling, and I've come up against this mountain range, and I don't think I can pass it. And the old man smiled at him. He said, look, grab hold of my staff. He says, and I will take you over the mountain range. So the young man grabbed the old man's staff with both hands. And then they started to fly. And the old man was a wizard. And he took the man high above the mountains. And they flew over the most enormous mountain range there could ever be. And as they were flying, the man said to the young man, why do you want to cross these mountains? Nobody crosses these mountains. And the young man said, well, I'm trying to seek the Buddha. Why do you want to seek the Buddha? He said, I want to ask him a question about my destiny. He said, I want to ask him about my destiny. And the young man smiled. He said, that's good. And as they got to the other side of the mountains, the old man said to the young man, he said, can you help me? And the young man said, yes, of course. The old man said, I've been a wizard for 1,000 years. He says, now my time, it should be over, and I should ascend to heaven, but nothing happens. According to my teachings, I should be ascending to heaven now, but nothing ever happens. Would you please ask the Buddha, what do I have to do to ascend to heaven? And the young man said, yes, of course, I'll ask the Buddha your question. So the young man travelled further, And eventually he found the Buddha. And there were many people wanting to seek an audience with the Buddha. And one day the Buddha said, I will answer everybody's questions, but I will only answer 3 questions, no more than 3. Think about your questions carefully and then ask me. The young man was shocked. He had 4. He thought about it. He wanted to know about his destiny. After all, that was why he was travelling in the first place. But then the old man and his daughter, who would be 18 now, she had never spoken, ever. And that's important. And the young the turtle that took him across the sea was so kind to help him. And he's been there for 500 years. That's quite important too. And what about the old man? The old man that had helped him so kindly across the mountains where he surely would have failed or died. And he's been there for 1,000 years. And I've just been homeless for a while. And so he thought about it. And when it was his turn, he saw the Buddha. And the Buddha said, what are your questions? And the young man said, well, there's this wizard, and he's been a wizard for over 1,000 years, and according to his teachings, he should evolve to heaven now, but nothing happens, and he's waiting, and he doesn't know what he needs to do to evolve. So the Buddha said, that's simple. The man needs to let go of the stick. The stick is keeping him anchored to the earth. He needs to let go, and he will be free, and he will evolve. So the young man said, okay. He said, what's your second question? He said, the second question is this turtle. This turtle has been a turtle for 500 years, and according to his teachings, he should evolve into a dragon. But nothing happens, and he's waiting. And he wants to know what he needs to do to evolve into a dragon. And the Buddha said, the turtle seeks comfort under his shell. And that's all he knows. He must leave his shell, leave the comfort, so that he can evolve further. And the young man said, okay, thank you. And the Buddha said, what's your final question? He said, there's this young lady who's never spoken, and her parents have tried everything to get her to speak. What do they need to do to help her to speak? And the Buddha said, the young lady will speak when she sees her true love. And the young man said, okay, thank you. And he left. And he started to travel back, and he got to the mountain range. And there was a wizard waiting for him. And the wizard picked him up. And he said, did you ask about your destiny? And the young man said, no, I did not. He said, I could only ask 3 questions. So I asked your question. And the old man said, what did he say? He said, you must let go of your stick. This stick anchors you to everything that you know. You want to evolve into something greater. You must let it go. So the man dropped him at the other side. And he said, here, this stick is incredibly powerful. Take it. It's yours. And with that, the old man evolved and went to heaven. So the young man went on his journey with the staff, and he had power. And he came across the water. And just then, the turtle appeared, and the turtle said, how are you? Did you ask the Buddha about your destiny? And the man said, no, I didn't. He says, why not? He said, There were more important things that I had to find out. So the turtle said, what could be more important than your destiny? He said, I asked the Buddha your question. And the turtle said, what did he say? He said, you must leave the comfort of your shell. If you want to evolve and become something greater, you can't do what you've always done. You must evolve. You must leave the comfort of what you know. As they got to the other side, the turtle said, hey, have my shell and everything in it, it's yours. And as he left the shell, the turtle turned into a dragon and flew away. When the man looked into the shell, there was the biggest pearl he had ever seen. He was rich for sure. He would be rich for the rest of his life. He continued his journey, and he came across the house where he had first sought shelter. He knocked on the door, and the old man invited him in. He says, come in, come in. He said, did you find the answer to your question about your destiny? And the young man said, no, I didn't ask about my destiny, but I asked your question. And the old man said, what did he say? And as he said that, the young lady came down and she said, hey, is that the guy that was here before? Bring your senses back into your space. Make some small movements with your hands and your feet. Bend your knees to your chest and hug them and roll from side to side. And bring yourself up into sitting. Close your eyes. Allow your head to drop toward the mat, chin to chest. Feel grateful for what you've got. Feel happy for what you can do. And remember, you are not yet everything that you can be. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Carrot Slater, we love your cat. Carrot keeps coming to look at your cat. Oh, this is Oliver. Hi, Oliver.